And the big news coming out of that segment was that on Friday, November 2nd, WWE is returning to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for another network special. This one is called WWE Crown Jewel. And on that show, Baron Corbin announced it will be Roman Reigns defending his Universal Championship against Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar in a triple threat match. Also on that show, they will be holding the first ever WWE World Cup tournament to determine, and I quote, the best in the world. So it looks like we're getting Okada versus Omega again, only this time in Saudi Arabia. I am intrigued by the World Cup concept. They haven't explained how it's going to work. They haven't said a word about who's going to be involved. I think TNA used to do a World Cup. I'm pretty sure they had something like a World, or maybe it's the X Cup that I'm thinking of. But in either event, this is not a new concept in wrestling. It would be new for WWE, so I am curious how they're going to work this. I'm sure it's just going to end up being, they'll have Sheamus representing Ireland and Rusev representing Bulgaria. They'll just take people from the current roster. It would be kind of nice, though, if they did sort of invite talent from other promotions. They put something together where they worked some other people in there, if only for one night. But I don't think that's what they're going to be doing. Undertaker comes out and he basically announces that since Triple H is going to have Shawn Michaels in his corner for their last ever but not really match in Australia, he is going to have Mayor Jacobs in his corner to help combat Shawn Michaels. I love how Kane gets elected mayor of Knox County. Like, he just got elected mayor. It's not like they were really doing much with him. They did bring him back to do the Team Hell No reunion, but before that, we hadn't seen Kane on television in months and months and months. And so this guy gets elected, and already he's back making trips to Australia. He's probably going to make the trip to Saudi Arabia. But anyway, this all but confirms that we're getting a tag team match at Crown Jewel with Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement. This looks like it's finally really going to happen after all of the teases over the years of Shawn coming back for one more match, and we thought maybe in 2013, it looked like, boy, he's going to work a match with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, and then he didn't. It looks like this is for real. Now, I personally like the idea better that somebody wrote in and floated on in the mailbag section of the podcast a few weeks ago, where it would be Michaels and Triple H against Undertaker and Sting, because storyline-wise, you could easily explain, Sting's involvement. Plus, if they're not going to wrestle, you at least get to see Undertaker and Sting team up one time, which would be kind of cool for nostalgia. I get why it can't happen. There's medical reasons, so I get it. But I do like that match better. So Kane is coming back. Kane reunited with Daniel Bryan. Now he's going to reunite with The Undertaker. It's like Kane's greatest hits here. He's back on tour. When do we get that Kane and X-Pac reunion? I don't care what anybody says. I was a fan of that Kane and X-Pac tag team. I liked Kane and X-Pac. So when does he get back together with him? When does Kane get back together with Tori? Or try to have another baby with Lita? You just run through all of his greatest hits here. Well, I don't know if I'd call that last one. I don't know if greatest is the word I would use for that. So Shawn Michaels, let's talk about him here for a little bit. Because like I said, it sure looks like he's coming out of retirement this time. The money offer, I'm sure, was just too great for him to turn down. Why else would he suddenly have a change of heart and agree to come back? Now, he has said before that he would be open to the idea of coming back if it was not for a singles match, but like a tag team match, a DX thing with Triple H where he doesn't have to put as much pressure on himself. I don't see this being a comedy match. I mean, if it's Shawn and Triple H against Undertaker and Kane, that's going to be the feature match on any show. And my guess is it leads to at least one, if not multiple singles matches, maybe at WrestleMania, maybe at other random shows. I don't see this as being a one and done. I hope not, for Shawn Michaels. I mean, as much as I wanted to see him do what very few have done and honor the retirement stipulation from WrestleMania, but look, when you have that much money flashed in your face, if I had to take a guess, this guy's getting $1 million or more. I haven't read that. I have no idea. Maybe he's getting $750 and not $1 million. Whatever he's getting is a lot of money. And when you have that much money flashed in your face, you know what? You'd be a fool to turn it down. So I don't blame him one bit. But if he is back, I hope it's for more than just one random, meaningless tag team match. It has meaning if it leads to something. If it's going to lead to a singles match at WrestleMania, great. I would not mind Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker at WrestleMania 35. Would it be as good as 25? Think about it, it's going to be 10 years. That is insane for me. I'm sitting here thinking about this, and it is insane for me to think that we could possibly be setting up for a Shawn Michaels Undertaker match at WrestleMania 35 when you think WrestleMania 25, WrestleMania 26. Undertaker physically was in, much better shape back then. He still looked pretty good. But even then, the guy was banged up. Even back then, people were talking about when's his last match going to be. He's coming to the end of his rope. 2010 was really where I started to see like a decline. He was gone for a while. He came back, and there was something very off about him. I don't know, he may have had hip issues, whatever it was. We're now going to be 10 years removed from that. And we're sitting here talking about the very real possibility of another Shawn Michaels Undertaker match. Like, these guys just... it's just unbelievable to me. It is unbelievable. This man is not disintegrated into a mound of dust. But somehow he soldiers on. He somehow is able to just keep going. You know what? I kind of admire that. I do find it sad, though, for all these guys that have come back, and now they're bringing back guys to get big paydays on these Saudi Arabia shows. Shawn Michaels may be coming back. It makes me sad to think that Bret Hart is not physically in a better way where he can come back and still be able to wrestle kind of at the level that he used to wrestle at. Obviously, he can't do that anymore, and it makes me sad because the idea that we could be getting Bret Hart Shawn Michaels matches today, a whole new generation could be exposed to the Bret Shawn feud. They could have continued that feud, and that was never really an option. Because Bret's my all-time favorite, and that, obviously that rivalry was very real that they had in the late 90s, but it made for some great television, and it made for some great matches, and for all these big names that they bring back, it's too bad that Bret can't be one of them, because I don't have any doubt in my mind that if he was still physically, able to, and didn't have the stroke and all the residual effects of it, I don't doubt that Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels would still be able to go out there and probably have the best match on the entire show.